Dear Christopher, here is your friend Thomas the Tank Engine. He wanted to come out of his station yard and see the world. These stories tell you how he did it. I hope you will like them, because you helped me to make them. Your loving Daddy.
Thomas and Friends, making tracks to great destinations.
It was winter time on the island of Sodor. All the engines were working hard and getting ready for the big winter storm that night. One night, the Fat Controller arrived to see Thomas. "Thomas, you have a very important job. You have to pull the rest of the passengers to their destinations before the winter storm." Thomas was excited. "The last of the passengers?" "Yes, sir. But don't forget, Thomas, you must fill up on more sand for your sandboxes." Sandboxes drop sand in front of the engine's wheels, especially in snowy weather, to help them stop. Yes, sir." And Thomas puffed away very quickly. Soon he arrived at the yard. Edward was there. "Be careful, Thomas. There's going to be a very big snowstorm." "Oh, I know, Edward. I'll be very careful." "And don't forget to fill up on your sandbox." My sandbox, I know. And Thomas puffed away. He was heading down the track, over Gordon's Hill, and it was becoming very icy. So Thomas dropped some sand down, which gave him enough grip to pull him up the rails. Refill my sandbox. I have enough sand, thank you very much. And he got to the top of the hill and went back down very quickly. But by the time he got to Maythwaite, his sandbox was running low. His driver and fireman went inside the station to get warm, while Thomas was outside. Refill my sandbox. Soon Toby and Percy popped by.
"Hello, Thomas. What are you doing?"
"I'm delivering the rest of the passengers before the big storm." "Watch out, Thomas. You might need to refill your sandbox."
Everyone tells me that," Thomas said.
"Trust me, I won't forget to refill my sandbox." Soon Thomas's driver and fireman came back out. "All right, Thomas, it's time to get going."
"Goodbye, you two.
Don't forget to refill on your sandbox," they yelled, but Thomas was already off. Sandbox, schmambox, I know what I'm doing. He had the final bit of sand, which he used to get around the corner by the windmill. Soon, he was out. Thomas was puffing down the line, and soon Annie and Clarabelle started to notice something.
"The rails are becoming very icy, Thomas. Are you sure you refilled on your sand for your sandboxes?"
"Annie, Clarabelle, don't worry, I'll be fine." But soon, matters got worse. The points by the docks were jammed because of all the ice and snow. Instead of proceeding him on his branch line, it would lead to the docks. Thomas didn't see this, but soon he swerved into the set of points. "Sand now, driver, now!" He tried to release sand, but nothing was left.
Oh no!
His driver and fireman jumped clear. Thomas shut his eyes and crashed into a big mound of snow.
"I knew you should have refilled on sand. Indeed."
Soon, minute by minute, snow had been falling down on Thomas and covered him up, and he could barely see. He gave a worried full peep peep for help. "Help! Help!" Thomas said, but no one could hear him from underneath the snow. Percy was coming around the bend with his final mail train of the night, until he heard a faint peep peep. Thomas? Percy looked over to his right and saw Thomas stuck in the snow.
"Percy, help!"
"That is an engine. It must be Thomas." Percy raced into the setup points and buckled up to Thomas. Chains were attached from coupling to coupling. Percy dropped sand onto the rails. He gripped hard and pulled Thomas back. The next day, the firelighter came. There was a big fire for the engines, and it started to thaw Thomas's rods. Soon Sir Topham Hatt walked in.
"Thomas,
What happened yesterday? I should have took your advice and filled up all my sandboxes first. I thought I had enough, Thomas said. I always say to fill up on your sandbox before winter snows. Luckily you didn't get caught in the big snowstorm last night, and Percy managed to see you. Thank you, Percy. No problem, Thomas. Thomas, you will have your sandbox refilled. Thank you, sir. And Percy will have a new coat of paint. Thank you, sir. And Sir Tom Hatt drove away. Thank you, Percy. I shouldn't have been so silly. Oh, no problem, Thomas. That's what friends are for. And they both peeped a very happy P.P.